Welcome to another episode of the Inappropriate Growth Podcast. Today, we are excited to have Brahim Kallon as our guest. Brahim is a multifaceted entrepreneur, leadership coach, keynote speaker, content creator, and podcast host. With a strong background in international business management, he provides valuable insights on leadership, business, entrepreneurship, and more. Brahim is the founder of BMK Services, offering videography, photography, and digital marketing services. Better Africa, focusing on leadership and business development. And Graystar Management, providing cleaning services. His passion for community and social services, combined with his diverse expertise, makes him a dynamic and inspiring figure. Join us as we delve into Brahim's journey, explore his challenges and successes, and learn about his vision for the future. This is an episode you won't want to miss. So let's get started. Welcome, everyone, to the Inappropriate Growth Podcast. My name is Paul Angel. I'm your host. I'm very happy today to have Mr. Brahim Kallon. Now, did I mess up your pronunciation?
You absolutely pronounce it right, Brahim
Wow,
Kallon. That's correct. Yeah.
that is awesome. All right. I don't know a lot of Brahim, so I was prone to get that one wrong, but we're on a roll. Let's go with it. First off,
Yes.
I'd just like to say, Brahim, where are you, and how did you get there?
Wow, that's a very interesting question. Where am I and how did I get where I am? Well, right now I'm at the point in my life where it's all about learning and growing. And I believe that I've not yet arrived at my plans or goals, but I'm working towards achieving them. Where I was before was a point in my life where I tried so many things. I had a catering business while I was in college. It was a niche that I saw with international students from Nigeria, mainly from Nigeria, who were looking to eat African cuisine. Here I am in Canada. We don't really have that many African restaurants. So the idea of having a catering and a food delivery business came about when I invited a couple of my friends to come over and they realized that I could cook African food and they wanted me to cook for them. And I said, no, well, that's a good idea to turn my skill set in cooking African food into a business. While I was in school, I did that for like a year and I invited my colleague to come join me. We did it for 2 years. Eventually, there was a demand for African food, but my business skills were not as strong enough. So I didn't really take it seriously. The third year, we failed. I tried to go back to do it again, but the desire, the passion was gone. So that was my first business. And then the second one was fashion, again, African fashion, because there was a trend back in 2020, 2014, I believe, when African music, I don't know if you have heard of Afro beats, African culture, social media made African culture so popular with the music, the fashion. I started an African fashion business where my colleague of mine, he's a graphic designer. He designs and then I would do the marketing. So we will pretty much get our supplies from China and then sometimes we'll get the print, the African fabric from Africa, and that's how we're able to start our African fashion business. We did it for like 2 years. Again, the interest, the drive wasn't there, and I couldn't do it by myself. So I failed at doing that. And then the third business that I started was multimedia business because I realized that I also have graphic design, web design, videography, photography skills. I mean, as a novice. So I'm like, let me just go into having a content creation platform. And that's how Aspora came about and Kingdom Grace came about. Since then, that's actually where I am right now, focusing on these two multimedia businesses. One of them focuses on business, the other one focuses on faith. And since then, I've been focusing on this. I'm doing it by myself, but now I have few people from Africa that are working with me to manage Aspora and Kingdom Grace. So I feel that two businesses, I didn't give up. Yes, obviously I got tired. I got tired because sometimes when you fail to something, you don't have that drive anymore to try anything new.
Do you think did that? I mean, what inspired you to not just start a journey as an entrepreneur, but to start another one and then start another one and start? I mean, how much did your background in international business management, in reality, how much did that influence your path?
Well, the international business management really helped me in terms of getting suppliers from Africa to bring some of the goods here in Canada, and also being able to get, when I was doing my catering business, I was able to order from suppliers here in Toronto who get their product, their food product from Africa. I was able to negotiate with them, right? I was able to do my own research in the African market from Canada, trying to make sure that I'm not getting robbed, I'm not getting deceived. So my international business management education really played a tremendous role in the catering business, in the fashion business, because the catering and the fashion business, it was just niche. And our clientele was strictly Africans, but obviously we had other culture people who were interested in African cuisine and also African fashion.
Can you think of or share a pivotal moment like early on that you could say significantly shaped your path or your approach to business and leadership? How's that evolved?
Continuous learning. I started attending business workshops, looking for programs that the city offers, because I realized that the reason why I failed at my businesses was because of insufficient um, business knowledge, even though I went to a business school. But I'm like, I didn't trust myself enough that I have enough business wisdom or insight. But at this point in my life, I've acquired so much wisdom in doing business, and just going to events and attending workshops really helped me to once again believe that I can do this and strive not to make any silly, stupid mistakes. So going to business events and workshops really turned things around for me. Give me the passion when I hear people share their stories. Oh, I did this business, I failed. I feel like, wow, I'm not the only person that I failed in this world, right? Just hearing other young entrepreneurs sharing their stories. Sometimes when we have a discussion after the presentation, just sharing their passion, why they want to do this business, how many times they have failed, lack of capital, lack of human resources, all that inspired me to feel like, you know what, failure is not fatal. Failure is not the end. Failure is not final.
Well, that's great because whenever I talk to entrepreneurs and they'll say, if you haven't failed epically, you're not trying enough stuff. You're playing it too safe because failure is where we learn the most. And whatever, you know, everything that I'm an expert on, you can usually trace it back to an epic failure of mine where I really hurt myself or hurt others or cost money or it was a mistake. It was poorly executed, but I learned what not to do, and I'll never do that again. In the current businesses, what were some of the biggest challenges you're facing now that, and how did you overcome them?
The current challenge I'm facing now is people. You know, I feel like both businesses are expanding and I don't have enough people to work with. Currently, I'm not really generating enough revenue to be able to hire people to come. That is why I outsource some of the administrative functions and the marketing functions. I do the accounting myself because I do have an accounting background, 2 years bookkeeping. I outsource administration and the social media aspect of things to one of my teammates in Kenya, and I do pay her, but very affordable, you know. So right now, my biggest challenge is having enough capital or enough revenue to hire more people here in Canada that can really help me because I just sense that both organizations are actually expanding. I cannot do it all by myself. So that is where I am right now. So what I'm trying to do to overcome that challenge is look for ways to generate more revenue for both organizations. Because I know they're like social organizations pretty much. They're not like for profit, but even though they are registered as one of them is registered as a corporation, which is Aspora. One of them is also registered as a nonprofit, Kingdom Grace. So that is why sometimes I don't monetize some of the content because I am more like community-based entrepreneur, social entrepreneur, where I feel like some the people, my audience, are not able to afford what my services, but I realize that that's not helping the company, the organizations at all. So that is why I'm looking for ways to come up with specialized knowledge or specialized products that the users or the audience can actually subscribe to pay for, so I can be able to hire more people to come on board and work with me. Okay, let me share something with you because the two businesses where I failed, I believe that I started them because of money, because I saw the financial opportunity. Like I wasn't really interested in having a food business. I wasn't interested in having African fashion. It was the opportunity was right there, and I was a student. I needed to make money. I'm like, you know what? I can cook African food. My friends that like my food and they want me to cook for them. Why not charge them $15 per plate? Actually, like I said, my motivation was really to make money. But the two businesses, the two organizations that I have right now, they didn't start off with the idea of, oh, I want to make money. That is why I'm struggling trying to monetize them because I didn't start these two organizations in the sense of, okay, I want to make money. My why is not money. My why is purpose. Whereas the two businesses that I started, my why was money. Yeah.
You are cursed. You are an entrepreneur, which means you're never going to really get the fulfillment out of working for someone else that you get out of building something for yourself.
I was constantly afraid. I was constantly afraid. And sometimes I will inquire for commercial kitchen, but they're like, well, you don't have a full fledged restaurant. Like I'm like, well, I do have a catering delivery business. I usually get my customers when they call me. I'll come, but they need somebody who will be there full time to cook full time. Well, I'm like, I'm in school. I can cook full time. I can do 9 to 5. After class, I will come home. The customers will give me their order and I will cook in bulk. And then that's how I did my business. So I was doing it from home and I was always afraid that somebody was going to snitch on me and then I'll end up in jail.
Right. Well, I mean, that's a consideration, and that is a roadblock for a lot of people. When we're talking successes, now the BMK services, Better Africa, Grace Star Management. What is your most significant accomplishment to date, and why?
I will go with Grace Star because Grace Star, you know Grace Star. I'll go with Grace Star because Grace Star, it's a startup management and contracting company. So I'm very proud to say that Grace Star management came as a result of my professional background, which is what I'm currently doing. I work as an housing coordinator, social housing. I realized that most of the contractors that maintain residential properties, commercial properties, even social community housing tend to be non-black. But we do have quite a lot of black African Canadian trade workers. They work in the construction, but they have not tapped into the property management industry in terms of offering their trading skills as a plumber, electrician, HVAC. So the idea came about because I do have quite a lot of African friends who are in the trades. Sometimes when there's no work in construction, they're looking for a side hustle. So I'm like, well, I'm in the field of property management. Sometimes when there's a plumbing issue, when there's an electrical issue, I'm looking for contractors. And I do have friends who are contractors. Why can I call them up to come and do the job? I can't because of liabilities. They don't have a business.
So
So
they're
I'm
like
like,
a subcontractor trying to work on
yes,
other general's license. So
yes.
so Grace Star, then you help people get their own licensed contractor set up.
So so what we do at Greystar is that we are a outsourcing trade company managing, maintaining properties, right? That's our goal. That's our vision. So we have a list of all the black trade workers in our contact base. So in case there's an issue of plumbing, electrical, we will send them out to go and do the job. Pretty much, we'll give them a job, and then they will give us a cut because most of the trade workers, they don't know how to get customers. They know how to do the job, but they don't know how to get customers. We negotiate. They will good. I will give them the contract, and then they will do the job, and then they will give me my cut. So I will call management companies and ask them, "Do you need electrician? Do you need a plumber?" Like, yeah, I'm looking for a plumber. Is he affordable? Is he good? Like, yeah, he's good. He's affordable. Does he know what he's doing? I'm like, yeah. Do you have a track record, a testimonial, right? So that's how I'm able to reach out to these trade workers in my community because I realized that we don't have enough of them in the property management industry here in Canada.
There's some requirements that you have in order for the housing authority to to hire someone. They have to have a
Yes,
long list of
yeah,
qualifications.
the trade personnel, they're licensed. We always hired licensed electricians, licensed plumber, right? We are just a management and a maintenance company. Like pretty much we give jobs to licensed electricians, licensed AVACs, licensed plumbers, licensed carpenters, but from the black community, right?
Customers are coming through you. They don't know how to
Yes,
find
yes.
customers.
They don't know how to find customers, so we get the customers for them.
So it's almost like a co-op, a cooperative of tradesmen.
I am still in the process of working with my uncle, who is also a tradesperson, to see how far we can take this, right? But as for now, what we do, we look for customers, residential, commercial, who are in need of contractors. These contractors are licensed electricians, licensed carpenters, licensed plumbers, and then we give them the job, and then they will give us a cut.
I don't want to complicate your idea, but it sounds
Yeah.
like you're creating a very lucrative and impactful app.
Wow,
And that's
that's actually a good idea.
what you're describing is a great idea for an app, I think, or at least a website. But websites are so 3 years ago. Now it's apps. Everybody's got apps.
Yes, 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 absolutely. Yeah.
So plans for the future. What are your long-term goals for your businesses? Do you see yourself creating separate businesses? Do you see yourself reigniting some of your prior businesses? What would you say are your long-term plans?
Well, my long-term goals, one of them is to continue the businesses, the existing business that I already have, to grow them, to expand them, to scale. And for both my two organizations are pretty much publishing companies, Kingdom Grace and Aspora. My goal is I want to have a studio. I want to have like a studio, one in here in Canada, one in Africa, where the guest can come in, interview them, lecture, do presentations. And my goal is also to have like a trade school with Greystar, trade school in Africa, where we train young men and young women who are interested in trades. So that's pretty much my long term goals for each of my organizations. Greystar to have a trade school, Kingdom Grace, which is the nonprofit organization, Aspora, the for-profit organization, is to have a studio here in Canada, in Africa, and also look for ways to generate revenue in different avenue.
How do you see the landscape of entrepreneurship through your lens and for what you see? Like, and how do you see leadership evolving in the next 5 years?
Technology is a skill set that entrepreneurs and leaders have to utilize if you want to have a voice. As a leader, if you want to have a voice in terms of reaching out to large number of people with your message, you need to utilize technology. What I mean by that is not just you posting content. The quality of your content through podcast, through blogs, or quotes, quotations, or video, your message has to be cleared. You can impact people's life from a distance. You know, we actually have influencers who are leaders. I read an article that talks about followership, influencers and followership, trying to distinguish between leadership back in the day and the leadership now. And the leadership now focuses on followership. That is where anybody can be a leader in our time. We have so many voices on TikTok, but the distinction is, are they good examples of leadership or are they bad examples of leadership? What is leadership? To my understanding, is influence. How can you have influence when you have a voice and the audience are able to captivate whatever message that you're passing across? So as entrepreneurs, another thing that is going to change the entrepreneurship landscape is technology. Just like I said, leadership is changing as a result of technology. Entrepreneurship is also going to change as a result of technology because we live in a digital age. Here we have AI. People are not going to be writing their blogs anymore. People are not going to be doing their own podcast anymore. People are not going to be doing their own videos anymore. AI has the capacity to produce content. So people are going to be lazy. So if you're not equipped with technology, if you don't know how to utilize technology as an entrepreneur or as a leader to be a voice to make a difference in society, or as an entrepreneur to start a business, like you just gave me an example of this startup business that I have, Greystar, talking about an app. I wasn't looking at it from that angle, but I just learned that, wow, that's a good idea. I can actually have a referral, a membership app, having tradespeople paying to be on that app, and then people can go on that app and look for somebody that can fix their fence. I wasn't thinking about that, but your solution was an app, not even a website. So I believe technology plays a big role. It doesn't matter if you're a leader or an entrepreneur, it plays a big role in every facet of life because we are in a digital age. And the next generation, they are so equipped, they surround themselves with devices. They don't even have time for one on one physical interaction anymore. So, if we're preparing for the future, we have to embrace technology. That's just a fact. It is here to stay and it's going to make things, well, easier for some of us, but it's going to make things difficult, especially for the older folks who are still hesitant, who are still afraid to embrace technology in their day to day way of life.
How do you balance your diverse roles as entrepreneur, leadership coach, content creator, employee, all the different things you do while maintaining your presence in your community?
Well, that's a really a good question. I work 9 to 5, regular job. Well, the type of job I do, I actually do my business in my job because it takes me 1 hour. It takes me 1 hour. Don't tell my boss. It takes me 1 hour to get my job done, and then I have the remaining time to actually work on my business.
Well, that's beautiful.
Yeah,
That-
the job is
just know that
very
you are blessed because not most people
yeah,
don't have that same experience.
yes, yes.
What
I'm
advice would you give personally to aspiring entrepreneurs who are looking to make a significant impact in their industries and communities? What would you tell them?
follow your why, follow your passion, plan. Even if you failed, you can get tired, try again, seek help, learn. Learn from people who have been there, done that, and follow your passion. Because yes, you get the money, but then when you get all the money, what else is there, right? Especially if you want to impact your community. When you make a difference in people's life, it gives you a sense of meaning, a sense of contribution that your life is useful, not just making money off people, but also seeing changes in people's life. And they're coming to you, being so appreciative, saying that, oh, Paul, thank you for doing this podcast. Brahim, thank you for this blog. It gives you a sense of fulfillment. So that's my advice. Follow your passion, learn, learn, learn.
Love that. That's beautiful. All right. Well, to our listeners and to you, Brahim, just know that if you really, really want to grow, sometimes you have to do something inappropriate. Thanks so much, Brahim, for being with us. And I hope to talk again soon.
Thank you, Mr. Paul.